Hello Scorpios, welcome to your monthly reading. This is going to be for July 2025. I'm going to use one deck to look back at June. When we checked in and connected, you're working on healing. So let's see how your healing journey is going. And also there was an urge from the angels for you to kind of release a negative relationship or influence and to spend your time and energy on your more positive relationship. So going to timestamp below if you want to jump ahead if you're not someone who likes to watch the process. Otherwise, we'll get in here. So first we're looking back at June. How did your healing process go? And or did you focus more of your time and energy on the positive relationships in your life? So we'll see here. And now we're going to do two cards, or two decks and charms. I'm going to do 4 cards from each deck. That's just kind of how, when I sat down to do the first reading for July, it's just the pattern the cards took. So I'm just repeating it for everyone, you know, make it fair. Okay, so we're looking forward to July. Interesting. They wanted to give you 5 cards here. So maybe you've got a busy July here, since June was a little bit quieter with the recovery, kind of shifting of dynamics of your relationships, or just you reflecting and deciding which relationships are, you know, worth your time and worth keeping. So let's see what's going on for Scorpios in July. And then soon we'll get into the charms next, and then into the reading. They're just discarding. Okay, that one's discarded. Probably just had to push it out of the way so to get the other charms. Ooh. So discarding a lot, so they obviously wanted charms out of the way. It's happened in a few readings, but just the way it kind of fell off. So I'm going to take all the charms that they did not hit that small card. So I probably had too many out of the bowl. Okay. So let's make sure everything's on camera. We have enough space for everything. I think we can pull this in a bit more. And then we have the double cards over here. So, okay, I'm just going to tune in just as I kind of adjust charms so we see what we're receiving here for Scorpios. Okay. All right. Starting first with June, right? Our look back at June for Scorpios. We're again just repeating from my intro where you were healing last month. So I asked to kind of check in on your progress of healing. That could have been physical or emotional or, you know, any sense of healing. And then the push to strengthen a more positive relationship or more positive relationships. Well, we do see the, you know, the emotional healing here, even the physical healing, the way she's standing, you know, receiving the light, right? The white light, the healing light of the angels here, of medical professionals, of medication, whatever your healing plan was, your healing treatment, or where you needed the healing on your body, because there's whole body here. So, you know, again, pending what your personal story was, Scorpio, there was the willingness, the open-mindedness, the focus on healing. So good job there. And then in terms of relationships, sort of the acknowledgement to seek out the more positive relationships, You know, Archangel Michael really only comes in when you need the strength to cut a cord here, right? So you may have been able to identify that more negative influence that we were talking about in June and kind of put some distance there, or cut the relationship, because here you are focused more on the positive ones, right? You're kind of looking back, you're looking at each of your relationships closely, you're kind of weighing them. You know, what's the value of that relationship to me? And if there is no value, you're kind of cutting it. So you're healing here, right? The first two cards here were healing. So you definitely were successful in June in focusing in on your healing. I'm going to start down here in the bottom corner where we got the two cards from the first deck. So we have two kind of watch outs, be prepared for, or, you know, bringing this to your attention kind of message. The first one is my little piggy. So this is indulging too much, or giving into influence, right? If someone is encouraging you to do something, or you're just kind of giving in, you know, that one more cookie kind of energy. And then this this kind of warning message from my bow tie charm is sort of a you know, deceit. You know, be careful of a something that's being presented to you like it's a gift, but it'll, you know, either not be what you expect. You know, that could be a dinner invitation, but then all of a sudden that person, you know, for whatever reason is not present when the check comes, right? You know, we did have the flag here to focus in and be aware of your more positive relationships. So there's some kind of heads up here of sort of this warning of deceit, being deceived, something being, you know, it could be a white lie, something packaged so that the whole truth is not shared with you. You know, if you're buying something off of a marketplace, you know, if you're a yard sale shopper, if you're buying a pre-owned vehicle, there's you know, there's even a house, right? There's a caution here that it's being packaged up to look better than it is. You know, they've cosmetic, they've done something to kind of hide it, you know. Okay, let's see how the cards pair with that. Okay. So we have two cards, both cards really focusing in here on being kind of honest with self. You know, trust your intuition, trust your gut, put yourself first, all that kind of messaging. You know, be kind to yourself. Maybe that's connected more to this gluttony, right? I was saying that one more cookie, right? So the overindulgence, you know, he's holding his heart. Maybe it causes heartburn. You know, maybe you're having spicy food. You're enjoying some barbecue wings this season, and you're kind of overdoing it here. So there's this caution to be good to yourself here, right? Her aura, she's trying to keep her aura balanced here. And then those were paired with the Chariot card here, but I'm more so looking at, I always like how he's kind of popping out here. I grew up in the 80s, 90s, so this was reminding me of when you follow the trolley on Mr. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And you go to that blue castle, right? And the king puppet just kind of pops out or pops up. I'm not sure why they're bringing me back to my childhood. Maybe it's this influence. Maybe it's a childhood friend or something that connects back to your childhood, something that you did in your childhood. And maybe there's a acknowledgement that, you don't have as young as a body anymore. Remember I was saying, like, that one more time, maybe not go down that water slide one more time. There's a bit of a warning there. But he's also popping out to kind of peek and see if he's like fooled the wolf and the tiger here, right? He's watching after them. So I don't know if this gift is going to be delivered to you in a form of conversation, but again, there's that deception, right? There's that misleading. He's kind of sent them away, like, nope, wrong house, right? Not me. I'm trying to think of the king's name, the puppet. It's not coming to me right now. But I believe the king's puppet in Mr. Rogers, I believe that the character of the king, he was a nervous king. I think Mr. Rogers oftentimes would encourage him, help him build up his courage. I think it was the king that had nervous energy. Maybe look for like skittish kind of energy around this person, right? Lack of eye contact, vagueness. I think it'll be obvious to you this kind of deception that's happening here, but just be careful, right? Be careful that they're not misleading. Okay. 2 cards, fox and a tiger. I wonder if it's a situation, 2 people, so you're not alone in this deception. Somebody could be pulling the wool over both your eyes and someone else. This could be workspace, like gaslighting, false promises. So you kind of walk away happy thinking, okay, it's just a month away, and then something else will come up, right? Those recurring delays. Or it could be, a close, someone who's part of your close network here and knows the 2 of you, kind of knows the situation, and they're kind of playing with it here. So I think that's why they're tying you back to your intuition, your gut. You know what's true in your heart here in July. So just be careful for some indulgence and a possible little deception here. Something packaged up for you nicer than it truly is. Like I said, if you're purchasing a house, a used car, if you're buying something off someone, a stranger you don't know, they may have done something cosmetic to kind of patch it up, patchwork here. So we do have an unexpected surprise in July. This is my fun, whimsical Jack in the Box. So he's going to jump out, just not when. It's a good time. And then you have your powers of manifestation kind of sitting by and waiting. So I wonder if this kind of magical moment is going to trigger you to start taking more control sort of your destiny here in July, kind of, or even just control your month, right? Take more control over your schedule this month. But I feel like there's going to be sort of an unexpected trigger to kind of you taking on the reins here, you having to kind of step up here. Oh, look at that, divine timing. Didn't I just say something's going to kind of trigger, something's going to pop up here? And what is he doing? He's taking control, right? He's now manifesting and steering the wheel, the yarn here. I think you're the 3rd in a row in this group. I think Sagittarius got this card. I think maybe before them Libra and now Scorpio. So sort of back to back to back here. I get this like amusement ride energy from this card for you. So it's the click, 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 click up to the drop, and then you're kind of coming down the drop here, right? So the divine timing, you've hit the apex here, and look what's showering down, right? Opulence, prosperity, wealth, abundance, and you're just kind of watching it kind of roll into you here, right? Divine timing. And with more prosperity and abundance in our life, we're able to start manifesting, right? We're able to start doing more things, create more things, bring things more things to life in our world. So that's quite nice. A little unexpected surprise here that is divinely timed for July for Scorpio. That's gonna kind of push you forward here pretty quickly into taking more control. I'm gonna now go across. I'm being pulled up to a sense of direction, and this is being seen. So the path that you're on now is taking you down a route where, popularity, fame, greater awareness of who you are, more self-confidence, more self-assuredness. That's the path you're headed down here. Maybe it's coming out of this kind of emotional recovery kind of period, or just healing period that you went through in June. Well, look, we got manifestation now. So you've gone from not manifesting it to the manifestation. So the trigger is definitely happening here in July, because you do start manifesting. You do start creating your world. You're number one, right? We've said focus on you, putting yourself first. So you definitely are taking on that positive mindset, understanding what you need in your world, and you're very much focused on that. This is go directly from point A to point B, right? No pit stops on this road trip. Going straight to the end destination here. Okay, so last grouping here. So we have a reoccurring situation, decision, behavior that is aggravating you. The wolf is howling. Whether you're letting it be known or not, there's this reoccurring situation that's happening here. And this is my take a step forward. So I would say that the angels are acknowledging and encouraging you that in order to remove yourself from this reoccurring habit, choice situation, you just need to kind of walk away from it. I think that is your choice, or that's what's in your control, is to remove yourself. This might not be a recurring decision you're making. So for example, that could be, a family member, a friend, a coworker keeps making the same decision that you don't align with. You've given them advice, and now you're deciding, I'm going to step away, I'll step back, and I'll let them move forward with the decision again. And this time I just need to, again, right, focus in on yourself and the world you're creating. And I kind of get it here. I just kind of picked up the charms while I was still talking about the others. But if we follow the story that the charms are saying, you're over here. You're the unicorn. Interesting enough, I just came to this reading after sitting down with this angel energies, and I developed another past life reading chart, and I wrote black sheep on that chart, and that's what's coming back to me here, because this is family, this is ancestry, this is like family tradition, heritage, but you're going in the opposite direction. This is a sense of wrong direction charm. And you're the unicorn out here. You're the black sheep. You're the magical one. As I say that, I'm thinking to the knowledge that I just refreshed about my Greek titans, and through sort of that research, I kind of went down a rabbit hole, stumbled across another kind of historian, and they were starting to plot out a family tree where I think it was every 14th generation, the third child was sort of the one that kind of stepped away from the norm, and they put their family lineage on a more positive course. So I'm wondering if you Scorpios are in a similar situation here, maybe not third child of the 14th generation, like that's pretty specific. But I have a feeling here that you have the ability, the willingness, the drive, the passion, the magic to break some kind of family tradition, family trajectory. You know, this could be choosing a different industry to work in. If you're in one of those families where you all kind of stay within the same industry, and maybe that's this decision here, right? This is the walking away. You're not agreeing with the kind of cycle that your lineage, your family history, each generation seems to follow. You want to kind of break free from that. You know, this is, you know, a wish come true. I don't know if they're pulling me back down to the divine timing. Maybe that's the trigger, right? The power to manifest. Your angels have heard you. You know, this is probably a very deep wish, deep passion. Oh, look, we have the train horns just blew. I'm sure the cameras picked that up. So, you know, horns for angels. That's a way that they express, you know, triumph, success, celebration, sort of the answer yes, all right? Confirmation, there you go, confirmation. So I guess that is the divine timing here. You know, you've been wishing to help change your family's story, your family's history, or change your story so it's not the same as your ancestors and your predecessors. And we kind of see it here, right? In the next card, we have this new community, this different kind of world that's welcoming you in. You know, you're a zebra shedding your stripes, right? The top of her collar here is ripped. So you're transforming, even the kind of superhero pow 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 that's happening down here, right? You're transforming into your family's superhero here. You're shedding your skin and you're joining this new sort of dynamic, this new approach to family as they pull me into the tree here. You know, you're sort of that, you know, the rose here, the special one. And it's probably special in the sense of, you know, look at the work you've done. You're a very stable individual, right? Stable emotionally, physically, kind of in all the senses, which is probably why you have the courage to kind of just walk away from the things, the repetitive cycles here, the recurring decisions that you don't agree with. So let's connect in next month, Scorpios, and let's see if you did walk away. See if you acknowledge the indulgence and the sort of possible deceit that's happening over here, this gift that's not a gift. And then the trigger, let's see if you actually feel it. Let's see if you know the moment that you hit the peak and come rolling down the hill here very quickly in July into your new world that you're creating. You know, you're number one here. So I'll see you in August.